Go live on Facebook. We're good? We're good on both? Hi, YouTube. Ready? Hi, Mom, I'm on TV. Earnings analysis. Netflix, IBM, eBay, nailing the market bottom. Again, how it sounded like, how we did it, and a true Melnick crappy story that will wipe away your smelly toxicity. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. We're going to give you deep earnings analysis on Netflix, IBM, and eBay. Then we're going to show you how to call the market bottom again, as we did in a real-time basis today. And I'm going to share a story which is going to help you as a trader, a free psychology lesson. It's a true story that happened to me, how I overcame it, and how I pushed forward. It's a true Melnickian crappy story that's going to wipe away all your psychological toxicity. By watching this video, you are agreeing to hold me, Mark Melnick, and T3 Live, harmless and not responsible for anything. If you don't agree to that, just exit this video immediately. And if you do agree, just keep watching. So we're going to just dive right into the picture. We're going to give you levels, everything, full analysis on all the charts. We have, obviously, in the midst of earnings seasons, we've been doing very interesting overnights recently. We caught JB Hunt short. Maybe I'll get to that after, but let's get right into the action here. We're going to start off, ladies and gentlemen, with Netflix getting pummeled after hours right now. Stock down about $44 at this exact second as I speak. As you can see, it's just plummeting after hours. Let's go into the raw numbers, shall we? 60 cents expected. That is a beat of the 56 cents. 4.92 billion, slightly behind the 4.93 billion. Okay, they added 7 million paid net additions. They reported streaming paid net additions of 2.7 million. Oh, they see the next quarter of 7 million. This one was 2.7 million, but the forecast was 5 million. So Netflix is clearly having issues growing. My first reaction when I saw this news is this stock should be down 50 points, is what I told you guys. You can see right here it hit $314. $314 actually at worst brought it only down 48 points, a little over 48 points. But pretty much this is awful news yet again. They are having trouble. They are having trouble adding subscribers. So what they're doing is they're barely beating next quarter. Last year, so this is the second, let me explain to you what's happening here. This is the second quarter earnings of Netflix for the year. They said next quarter, their Q3 earnings ahead, they're going to sign up 7 million people. The problem is the year before for next earnings, so the third quarter of last year, they had 6.1 million subscribers. Netflix is supposed to grow exponentially year after year. Otherwise, it means growth is A, accelerating, B, stagnant, C, slowing. You have 30 seconds. Good luck. Da 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 da. It's slowing. This is horrible for a very big company like this. They keep losing money. Their free cash flow negative 594 million versus negative 559 million last year. You want to know what keeps this company afloat? The same thing that keeps Tesla afloat, an artificially high illogical stock price. So when Tesla needs to raise money, they'll just take some shares. They're $200. We'll sell 100,000 of them, and we'll just get a cool 20 million bucks, 25 million bucks, 30 million bucks, and we'll pay for all our losses. Netflix is just going deeper, deeper, deeper. The whole point of Netflix is eventually they're going to have enough subscribers because with the video content they buy and whatever. You know, here's the funny concept. I'll explain to you why Netflix is my favorite service, then the stock price should go down. I'm going to explain to you the fundamentals here so you understand. Now, it's very obvious. If you're spending, and just for number's sake, let's say you spend 1 billion a year on creating fresh content for your viewers. Let's say Netflix does it. It's way higher. We're using numbers here, right? The thought is that even if you're losing money, let's say you're only making 500 million from your subscribers, the thought is that as you keep spending that 1 billion, you'll get more subscribers, more, and eventually you'll be able to pay for the service and a lot more because you could provide the same movie to every single person. You could show the same movie to 10 people like you could to a million people, like you could to a billion people, right? You could share the same movie as long as they're part of the service. Um, Here's the problem. This is what, and I hope the analysts are smart enough to see this tomorrow. Here's the problem. It keeps going up, the price to make this new content. You know how much more? You could look it up online. I don't have it in front of me. I don't want to start digging right now. But Stranger Things 3 was significantly more expensive than Stranger Things 1 to create. And it wasn't because of the special effects. It was because I had to pay every actor and actress a ton more money to be in the show. Winona Ryder stole our hearts, didn't she? She got caught. What happened here is the content keeps going up, but the rate of growth of the members is still going up, but it's slowing. But the rate of producing the content goes up exponentially. That's how they say competitive. Now add in that everybody wants to compete with them. Amazon is directly competing to them with Amazon Prime Video, Roku, Hulu, YouTube originals. You know, YouTube remade Karate Kid. Most people don't know that. I wonder why. YouTube Red. If you have the paid subscription for YouTube, you get to watch the new series of Karate Kid that had Ralph Macchio and the guy that he crane kicked in the face, as well as that guy's teacher. So in order to stay ahead, you have to spend more and more money. But if your members' subscriber growth is slowing, yikes, yikes, that's going to be scary. My Netflix subscription is going nowhere. It will remain active probably as long as it keeps producing phenomenal content. These numbers sucks. Netflix, coming out of the horse's mouth themselves, says the rate of investment is extremely high. They say they have discretion as to when they choose to support titles. Oh, you mean you had a choice on whether or not that you wanted to have another season of Stranger Things? Yeah, it's a simple algorithm. How many people watch this? How many people watch this? How many people we watch this? This is worth this much to us. This is worth this much to us. This is worth this much to us. It's not really an executive decision so much as an obvious choice. Their net subscriber ads are going to miss forecasts. You know what will keep going up for Netflix that will never go down? The price they're paying to create all these awesome shows for you and I. They're making large investments in original animation. They say Stranger Things is performing off the charts. It says balancing constantly between local successes and broader successes. It says has made a large investment in original animation. That is very intelligent. You know how many computer nerds love anime? I love a lot of the anime out there. They start creating cool, unique anime. I even watch some of it, like Castlevania. Remember the old Nintendo game? They have a Netflix original, Castlevania. Pretty gory, pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent. They say they're going to add $5 billion in incremental sales this year. That looks light to me. So overall, this is what's happening here. The stock is down to 318 at the moment. I wanted to give you guys algorithmic level. You ready? You ready for this? Don't hate the player, hate the number. It's probably not getting there tomorrow. I'm looking at $259.28. Now, the important thing is how are you going to play Netflix tomorrow? That is going to be the important thing. it depends on what Netflix does, is depending how we are going to play it. I do want to give you a short trigger though. This is going to be easier to hit than your support levels. Two levels watch for a breakdown. One is 308.01, $308.01. You break that, you have a smooth ride to 301.65. You break 301.65, and we could talk about numbers like $278. If 301.65 breaks, my thoughts is the $300 puts are going to explode through the ceiling at that moment, and it looks like a very easy scalp trade. Those are my original thoughts. Thoughts can change based on a situation. I'm going to show you that later with a true Melnickian crappy story and so much more. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. This could be life-changing for you as a trader. It was life-changing for a lot of people, and I'll even show you either an email or text message I get. A lot of those daily. But let's go ahead and look at the next earnings name here. We're going to go into IBM. So my opinion is they're fairly treating this stock. That's my opinion on Netflix with the down move. All right, IBM, $3.17 per share. That beats the 307 expected. 19.2 billion, slightly ahead of the 19.16 billion. That's 19.16 versus 19.2. Think it's good. Think it's good. They're backing their full year adjusted earnings per share view of at least $13.90 versus the consensus of $13.90. They continue to see good hybrid cloud growth. This is so important. If you want to know who's going to compete with Amazon Web Services and Microsoft and Apple, if you want to know who is going to have a chance to be a big player in that arena and already is, obviously, but could even grow further, it's IBM. When they say they continue to see good hybrid cloud growth this quarter, that to me shows that they're growing in all the right places. It's not artificial growth like what Netflix does. They're bribing users. You want to know what Netflix is doing? Netflix is literally bribing users. They would be better off going to every one of their subscribers and paying them $40 a month for no content. Say, "Look, we won't give you any brand new spanking titles. We'll just pay you $40 a month to be subscribed to us." They might as well do that because that's what happens. That's, mathematically, it's identical of what they're doing. Obviously, strategically, it's smarter what they're doing. I love Netflix. It's crazy. IBM is growing in the right places. They're doing it the right way. These earnings were good to me. Do you remember Red Hat? It says it does not, these numbers does not include any other amounts for Red Hat or Red Hat related activity. The company will provide an update to these full year expectations pretty much at a later time. On August 2nd, they said they're going to show their operations with the recently closed Red Hat acquisition. To me, this is I was bearish on IBM for a long time. I mean, yeah, when it dropped from 150 down to 100, I was bearish on it. Came back up, gapped up, came back up to 143. This is actually one of the better earnings I've seen. Now, given just a look at these earnings, I'd say this stock should be up 5 points. I could obviously see it's down after hours to 141.10. The stock was as high as 149, came all the way down. I think these earnings are solid. They're putting themselves in a position where they can underpromise and overdeliver. To me, that is a very big deal for the company. It actually allows them to legitimately underpromise and overdeliver. When they say at least we're gonna come in line in the worst case scenario, at least bottom line, bottom barrel number, I think that's a very positive thing. I think they're not treating this stock fair. Um, the fiscal year 19 guidance is going to include the Red Hat contribution on August 2nd. So, I mean, I think Wall Street gets things, earnings names wrong all the time. I will say in this one, Wall Street got it wrong because they're going to update their fiscal year 19 guidance that includes a Red Hat contribution. That's the word they use on August 2nd. So they're basically saying whatever you think our 2019 numbers are going to be, our fiscal year 2019 guidance, we're going to raise it on August 2nd. We're projecting. So under promise, over deliver, raising it August 2nd. Love the way the company displayed their earnings to the street. This is they're being unfairly treated, in my opinion. Next one on the radar is eBay. Now, eBay was kind of funny recently. I've been very bullish on this company overall. I was a little skeptical about the recent tax thing. So, if you live in New York or New Jersey or Connecticut or a bunch of other states, all of a sudden you'll realize that buying things on Amazon has a tax all of a sudden. Who saw that one day and got pissed off and was like, what? What is this? What is this tax now? Everything costs so much more now on Amazon, eBay. What's going on? I felt that way. I felt that way. You too, Diana? I felt that way. 68 cents a share beats the consensus of 62. 2.7 billion ahead of the 2.68 billion expected. Q3 next quarter, 62 to 65 cents versus the 63 expected. That's slightly ahead on the median range. They're basically saying 63 and a half against the 63. Now here's where it gets interesting. They said 2.61 to 2.66 billion dollars is what we're going to earn. That's saying like 2.635 billion dollars versus 2.68. That's like, you know, a solid 45 million dollars off potentially. That's negative. But they raised their fiscal year 19 adjusted earnings per share view to $2.70 to $2.75. The consensus was 264 to 270. That is hugely bullish. They grew their buyers 4% across its platforms. That is hugely bullish. You are seeing people leak over from Amazon. You know, the funniest thing is people will say, how many people here, just real quick, raise of hands, how many of you guys think what Amazon's existence is negative to eBay overall? How many people would make that argument? It's a logical argument. You, Richard, Rich P, Rich L, Johnny, Brian, not you, Diana. How many people here think that Amazon as an overall unit takes away business from eBay? It sounds like it does. The truth is it doesn't because what people underestimate is people who go on Amazon do so for two things. Why are the two reasons people use Amazon? Not their web services or selling or Amazon sellers. I mean, why do people buy brown box items off Amazon that come in the brown Amazon boxes? Expediency, free delivery, convenience was the one thing. Board, low cost. Thank you, Han. Also the low cost. So it's low cost, and it's convenient because you don't have to get up off your chair. And the convenient includes the free delivery, the expediency, everything, right? But the cost also, most importantly, it's the cost. Trust is obviously a factor, privacy, okay. But it's also the cost. So what happens is the truth always remains is that most things on eBay are cheaper than Amazon. Just sometimes even the buy it nows on eBay are cheaper than Amazon. So what's happening right now is you're seeing the people who are the bargain shoppers on the internet who are there all day looking for the cheapest price to buy their item possible. They're going over to eBay. They grew their active buyers by 4% across all platforms in the second quarter. 4% user growth in a quarter in 3 months. They reached a commercial agreement with PayTM Mail. It's Indian. It's Indian. I think it's a pay system in India, and they also agreed to sell its flash sale German business Brands for Friends. Companies actively reviewing the role and value of StubHub and classifieds in its portfolio to determine the best path forward to maximize share value. This is the comeback king. And again, you're dealing with companies that are You know, trading pretty off, not too off the all-time high, but pretty off the all-time high now. eBay all-time high 46.99. So what you're ultimately seeing here on eBay is, to me, a value opportunity. Because one has to think when competition comes in, you're going to have certain people who are on one platform leak into another. eBay is a perfect example of what leak out from Amazon does. I go on eBay all the time. All the time I'm on eBay. In terms of triggers in eBay, I want you to use 4250 for the algorithmic level here of 4250. Can get you a move to 43, and if you start breaking through $44.36, excuse me, $44.45, you'll have a target of 46.24. So again, $44.45 is a big level, and the other one simply 42.50. Keep an eye on those to the long side. So yeah, I thought the eBay earnings were great. They look solid across the board with the earnings per share raise. And people are still using their service despite paying taxes like you would have to do on Amazon, the internet tax, as they call it. I want to share with you a crappy psychology story. Then I'm going to show you how we called the bottom as well as algorithmic levels for Netflix again, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Q, Spiders, IWM, Google, Gold, USO, and the S&P 500. I want to share a story with you that might actually change the way you think. This is very important. This is going to help you as a trader. And most people might be embarrassed to share a story like this, but I think sharing it with you guys is a very important thing. So I have a brand of refrigerator called a Sub-Zero. It's a very large refrigerator. Um, it's a great refrigerator. It broke. The freezer side broke. Little bit of a panic there because we have very important things we keep in the freezer that we can't risk getting spoiled beyond food. I'll put it that way. No, it's not marijuana, you crazy gooses. And we needed to repair it. So we found a repair person, called him up. He came over. He said that he could fix it. Everything was good. He looked at the thing. He went in with his tools, with a light, with like a blowtorch looking thing. I'm sitting there and I don't know what fixing one of these refrigerators looks like. I never seen this refrigerator be fixed. Everybody always knows the joke, is your refrigerator running? Yeah, then you should run after it and catch it. Ha ha ha. I have a little bit of a different story. So, guy comes in, pulls it out, goes behind the refrigerator. Thing weighs probably 1,000 pounds, maybe 1,500. I mean, it's a phenomenally heavy refrigerator. It's huge. It's huge. Like in case of nuclear war, jump inside the refrigerator, you'll be safe. Like one of those types of refrigerators. So it's like, okay, fine. Dude basically says, give me 1,800 bucks through check or credit card, or you could pay me 1,400 in cash. And I'm sitting there, and as a little bit of a math nerd, I said 1,800 to 1,400. That's $40. He's giving me over 20% off. He's giving me like 22, 23% off by paying him in cash. So right there was like red flag, and I'm going to teach you why this is so important of how to overcome negativity in trading. It leads into it, believe me. I'm going to take you down a crappy route, but it's going to lead you to freedom. There's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to be like that dude from Shawshank Redemption after he crawled through the tunnel of manure. Um, so we ended up writing the guy a check for 1,800. I didn't have 1,400 in cash on me. And I was like, okay. Guy plugs it in, say your freezer's working, just let it get cold. Beautiful. Guy left. This was over the weekend. This was last Saturday. Okay. This past Saturday, last Saturday. Fine. No problem. No problem, right? Call him back up. Freezer's still not working after he left. Call him up, call him up, call him up. I'm like, screw this. This guy's probably a scam artist. Wife is like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude's a scam artist. Called up, Chase Bank, canceled the check that I wrote him, called him up on the phone, left him a message, say, I'm not going to dox him or dock him or whatever the hell that silly internet word is. And I basically said, I canceled the check. I have no problem paying you your $200 consultational fee. You're not returning my calls. My freezer is still broken. Never calls. Called him 3, 4, or 5 times. Just called him like 3 times a day. I canceled the dude's check. He came over and he worked. My freezer's still broken. I want to talk to him and he won't even answer his phone. All right. Screw this. Dude's not getting back to me. Obvious scam artist. I call up. I said, I'm just going to get a new refrigerator. It's expensive. I had to drop $12,000 for it. So with this Sub-Zero refrigerator, they came in today, 3 workers. They had to unload it on a huge truck, bring it up. It was like I was watching them bring it in. I literally took. It's kind of funny. I think I actually have pictures. I want to show you guys because this is going to um, really. All right, I think this gives you a good idea of what it looks like. Here are the 2 workers on the refrigerator. That's the new refrigerator today that they're bringing in. See that? That's the new refrigerator. You see the size of that thing? Those are big dudes. Those are big dudes carrying it in. See that? Those are big dudes carrying it in. So it's that refrigerator. They pull it out, and the guy comes over and tries to hand me something like this. Like one of those, like, I'm moving back while my arm in the tray in the bottom of the fridge is moving forward like this. And he's like still moving back and he cannot get far away. And he's making a face like, what is wrong with you? I look down and there's a turd sitting there inside the bottom tray behind this a refrigerator. It's identically sized to the other refrigerator, the one you saw. All Sub-Zeros make the same size, so if you design the cabinets around them, you won't have to rip out and change your cabinets. They do it intentionally. So I'm looking there, and I is it a human turd? Is it a dog turd? It's not a cat turd, or I know what camel turds look like. They look like little balls. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this guy actually, when he was going inside and out the house, for whatever reason, took manure, put it behind my refrigerator, pushed it back in, lied to me, tried to scam me, didn't get away with it, and literally dropped a turd in my house. And I'm not saying he used the bathroom. Like he literally placed manure behind my refrigerator and pushed it back. Like what did he think was going to happen? Did he think like I was going to sit around? Like, did you think like what was I going to do? I was going to walk around like be like, "Honey, do you smell that? What is that smell?" And I'd have no idea where it's coming from, and I would have never found it in a million years. Oh, did you check to see if somebody dumped behind your 1,500-pound refrigerator or whatever the heck that thing weighs? Like that wasn't crossing my mind. So I realized everything that happens when he was going back and forth. I was so nice to the dude. He came in my house. Would you like some tea? Would you like some coffee? Would you like some water? Is there anything you'd like to eat? How are you doing? This, that. Yes, sir. Well, how long have you been doing this for? Okay, like I'm talking to the dude being just me, a gentleman. He's coming in my house. I treat him as a guest, not just a person who's like trying to fix something. I treat him as a guest, inside the house. Well, that refrigerator was supposed to come 11 o'clock a.m. today. It came 8 o'clock in the morning before I'm getting ready to trade. So I am full of this toxicity all day. I am livid at this guy. I'm thinking there, I have his first and last name. I have his card. I have this. I have that. I have his business name. I can go after and try to destroy this person. And he deserves it. And I'm sitting there and I'm trading and I'm so pent up. And then I'll show you, I actually traded pretty well today. Maybe I'll show you guys a text. Just I want to just show you a text of how it looks like. Let me cover the person's name. There's a there's a curse word in it. All right, whatever. Just you're all grown-ups here. This is from today at 12. I don't know if you guys can read that. 12:24 p.m. Today, 12:24 p.m. And he basically says, Melnick, crazy genius, mofo. How the Ford Motor Company do you do it? You had crazy issues with that a-hole, referring to the refrigerator dude, and still quarterback the SHI blank out of this market, out of this difficult market, and killed it on your trades. You're the best I've ever seen, man. I'm 3 for 3. Qualcomm 1 minute, 2 Tesla trades. I'm going to tell you how I overcame this, and this is going to help you with trading. So part of me is like, do I destroy this person? And as I think that, my mind is so toxic. My mind is so tense. I'm thinking such bad things about this person. I'm so mad at him. I'm like, this son of a. Mm. Not only was I super kind to him, he tries to scam me, he lies to me, and then he drops a turd behind my refrigerator. And I took a different approach throughout the day, and I said, you know what? This is how I really came to thought. The old Mark Melnick would have been on a vendetta hunt for this individual. Holding a grudge, ladies and gentlemen, as Nelson Mandela says, is like trying to poison yourself and hurt the other person by doing so. I instead prayed for this individual. Whether you believe in whatever you believe in or not, I prayed for this individual because I thought if an individual like this is having such a bad time in life, who knows what he's gone through, who knows what he's going through, to have done this to somebody who was kind and nice to him. I'm pretty sure he didn't have too many people who were kind and nice to him as I was, and he tried to run a scam and just physically tried to hurt somebody by dropping a turd back there. I literally prayed for him and I completely forgave him. And if he ever did call me back, I would let him know that I know what he did and that I still want to pay him money. And I would be happy to pay him his money still in terms of his consultation fee, not for fixing my fridge or dropping the turd. I would pay him his $200 for his visit. I would be very happy to do so. And that's how I left it. When I left it like that, I felt much better throughout the day. I was tense, I was angry. Did I drop any F-bombs on the microphone today? I don't think I did. Did I? I might have. If I did, I might have whispered it under my breath. I hope, you know, didn't hear that. But what I did was I turned it into a positive and I just went straight to business. And the way I turned it into a positive was not by saying, oh, it doesn't matter if somebody did that to you. I looked at it as a blessing. How? How's that even possible, Mark? He tried to scam you and dropped a turd behind your refrigerator. How did what's the positive part? Let's pretend he fixed it and he left that turd. That turd would have been growing bacteria. It would have been stinking up my house something awful if the air went off and I would have had no idea and I would have been walking around my house smelling it if he actually fixed it. So I told myself maybe it's a blessing in disguise because this new refrigerator I bought, the new Sub-Zero model, has an air filtration system. They actually boast a list saying that you could keep lemons in your refrigerator fresh for 3 to 6 months. It literally filters a gas that causes ripening, natural gases that come from your vegetables and fruit that cause ripening, and it literally air filters that out. So your vegetables and fruit last like 5, 6 times longer. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, that is such a blessing. Even when you get fresh fruit out of the fridge, I mean, you have to understand there is spores, there is mold on it, whether it's a huge outbreak, a huge sporulation outbreak, or a large one, you know, there's spores in the air you breathe, right? But filtering it out like that really keeps the food ultimately as healthy and fresh as possible. And I thought to myself, all these positive things that wouldn't have happened had he not scammed me. And it sounds weird to think of life like that, but I was blessed. I didn't have to smell unknown crap in my house on a hot summer day if I didn't have the air conditioning on, which I do. I wouldn't have had to, my food would have been less healthy. I have children now. I mean, there were so many positives that came from this guy actually being a scam artist, and either I'm not I'm not sure where he got that, you know, that turd from, but I will tell you it ended up working out for the best because it ended up costing me nothing with him, and it ended up me getting a much healthier refrigerator than I had before. It was totally worth every step of the experience. So when you're in trading and something bothers you, family member, a friend, a worker, a boss, an employee, whatever it is that upset you, a wife, a friend, a in-law, whatever it is, make sure that you just let it go on. Just say sleep on. As I was telling you guys yesterday, just let it move on because things happen for reasons in this world in which you'll never be able to explain. I could tell you throughout my entire life that anytime you planned for something to be exactly one way, it ended up being completely different and not even remotely close at times. Life has a very interesting way of throwing these curveballs at you. To me, I look at the whole situation as a major blessing, as something or someone or whatever entity is out there that actually was looking out for my well-being and maybe my family's health and well-being by keeping our produce fresher. We eat a lot of vegetables and fruit in the house. We do everything. That maybe it was something that was just meant to happen. And if it didn't come with my freezer breaking randomly, never broke before, and a guy coming over the house trying to scam me, dropping a turd behind it. Maybe if there was no turd, guess what? If there was no turd there, maybe I would have found another repair guy and he would have actually fixed it. Maybe I needed that scam artist to come because if I hired a guy just to come over and fix it, my food would still be the same as before. There wouldn't be anything special about it. Maybe this was a calling for something like that. I have no idea. It sounds insane. You could be listening now and think that I sound insane, but I will just say one thing. We humans, considering science and technology, double every year. In 1 year, it's one of my favorite lines. In 1 year and 1 day from now, we will have learned more about science than we ever had in entire human history from this point forward. 1 year, 1 day from now, we'll have more science learned than every other year combined, ever. And that's a very interesting thing of putting it like that. So I'm smart enough to know that I don't understand everything. So I came into the market today. First thing I called, with my head all screwy up and me needing to think about what to do with this situation because, you know, needed to find a solution. Called the Qualcomm one and done. Called the big Qualcomm trigger through 7881. Popped up here. One and done would have bought you right here. Nice trade. A lot of traders made money. A lot of bandits made money here, and they were out the door within the first 5 minutes. That was it. Then Qualcomm was magically plummeting. At this point, I came and said, I wouldn't do the Mark V strategy here. Some people made money on it still, but I said I wouldn't do it. It wasn't a good one for sure, whether you made a little on it or not. And I started canceling my algorithmic strategies that I'd normally do on these things because the stock wasn't looking good enough to trade. It's so funny. You could say, oh, look, this strategy works here and it doesn't work here and it doesn't work here. That's why when I hear people and they're like, moving averages don't work. Look, it hits here, it bounces, it hits here, it breaks through. There are actually ways to raise your percentages of knowing when to use them. Technical analysis is not about understanding a chart pattern and executing upon it. Technical analysis is looking at a chart pattern and saying, at this exact time, if I do it right here, are my odds increased of winning? Do I have a 70, 80, 90% chance of being right here? And if not, I should move on. And you could look at things like that. You could look at things like that and execute upon them in a very amazing fashion. So after that Qualcomm one and done, went right into Levi's. And this was my first call out of a entry trade today. Again, you're a broadcaster, you could talk about, I'm trying to help everybody in the room here. We called Levi short through 1891, put a target of day lows. This is a 5-minute chart, short here through 1891, flushes to 1854. Those puts tripled in value on this move. We called that move. That's it. Simple, easy, most likely going to work. Goldman Sachs downgraded it. News flow, technicals, charts, market timing, everything lined up. Most of the time when you see your technical formations, here's a bull flag. You're supposed to ignore it. Anybody who says once you see something that fits your strategy, execute upon it, those are the people who cannot make money trading anymore. I'm serious. Those are the people who don't make it anymore. That's Wall Street's answer to helping you, to help people who are trigger shy, who aren't trigger happy, to teach them how to confidently step forward. The truth is, you should only confidently step forward when you know you could be right most of the time. Once you know you could be right most of the time, FOMO doesn't happen. You don't care about the trades you miss. You only care about the trades you catch. You're making money consistently. Nothing else matters. And then after that, we caught this little puppy here, Seattle Genetics. Very, very simple. High, know your limit strategy, buying it here by the range. I actually caught it up through here as I was trying to break out here. Stock grinded on me, went up a little. I chucked it. Grinded. And by the way, I chucked it. It went up a point. Look at this stock. This is the one we decided to play today. We're calling Shopify breaking out today early. Beautiful. I want to tell you how it sounds like, why it's so important that you're with somebody who, and I love the message besides for the obvious profanity. Um, I love the way the word quarterbacking sounds in this market. How valuable would it be for you right over here? And there are 500 people following me right now as I do this in the room late at night. There's a bunch of you on YouTube, a bunch of you on Facebook, so I'm saying it in front of you. This is what it sounded like. I'm going to show you on the 1-minute chart of what the bottom of the market sounded like. I wish I fully recorded it, but this is how it sounds every day. Sounds like this. It sounds, okay, guys, as it's falling down here on the 1-minute chart. All right, guys, who wants me to call the bottom of the market? I always call it a rhetorical question because everybody always says yes. I say it as in a way to get people alerted and ready to say, okay, what do I want to buy? It's going down. Since I know, it's kind of amazing. I found out other women have this gift too. My wife is right all the time. My wife has never been wrong except for one time. One time she was wrong. She didn't think she was always right, and that was the one time she was wrong. So what do I do as the Qs are going down? I say, the market is about to bottom, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call it out. How many of you women, what stock do you women think we should buy here if the market bottoms? Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. All the women start dropping Amazon. I'm like, listen, say whatever you want. I could show you stats from running these rooms that show that women are far better traders than men. You could drink, you could live in whatever bubble you in. On average, if you're a woman, you have a higher chance of being successful as a trader. The Newsbeat live room boasts the highest female population of traders. That's why we're so good. And right over here, I'm saying, guys, and right over here comes down here into the 50s. And I'm right over here on this 1 minute candle. I say, guys, the market bottom. Jumped in a little bit of Amazon calls. This was Amazon at the time. So right here, I'm calling the market bottom. Right over here is 1051. I want to show you Amazon. This is 1051 in Amazon. Right over here. How beautiful is that? Boing, right to $2,000, right to $2,000 in 5 minutes. Right over here, right to $2,000. We called the bottom of the market, and this is what happened after we called the bottom of the market. It held for pretty much the entire day, with the exception of it broke down at 4 o'clock. At the last 5 minute candle, it broke down. But people were buying here. Look at the stock you're trading. Tell me if I could have brought value to you if you traded any stock to the long side at the time. Maybe the stock you're watching wouldn't have gone up. I went with a market moving stock like Amazon, and it worked. It's things like this that bring value to a community. It's things like this that keep people consistently profitable. It's me telling you what I'm going to do ahead of time before I actually do it, which helps people make money. And if you want to know the reason of why I called the Q's bottom there, was because on the daily we had support right by the 192.58 level. This is this top trend line, the same trend line we used to call the dead bottom yesterday, a day ahead. We'll share with you our algo levels for tomorrow. Don't worry. Just hold on. So we called the same level again, and it's 192.58. So what happened as the Qs were going down to 192.58? It's 192.58 right here for the first time. Look at the 1 minute chart. Look how it spiked in volume when it hit my algo trend line because the robots were buying. They shot it up real quick, pulled it in a little, and then just took off and held for the whole day. This is a 1 minute chart. This is a 1 minute chart. And it's that type of quarterbacking, despite something crappy happening to me earlier, that allowed me to overcome it. And if I held my anger, I don't think I would have been able to make these calls today. The market had very little volume today. That's why I thought my support level was going to bounce. The Qs did 16 million shares. Just to zoom out and show you today's volume, you could see there's nothing special about it. Let me move my mug over here. You could just see this is today's volume. Nothing special about it. Very light. So when support levels that you draw actually hit with lighter volume, they're more likely to hold. You just have to think of it logically. Think about it. If there's a glass window here, there's a glass window here and you try to break it like this. Is that glass window going to break? Probably not. There's a glass window there and you run at it full speed, you're likely to smash through it. That's the difference between low volume and high volume. Low volume, tap, doesn't break, bounces the other way. High volume, you run at full speed, you shatter it and you go right through it. So using my OODA loop, I'm like, there's low volume here. It's probably going to fall. It's most likely going to bounce. We could call the accurate bottom of the market in real time before it happens in a real time setting. Now, the funny thing is, if that was hitting at different times, it would have held differently. It would have traded differently. Because we were approaching 11 o'clock, I knew the volume was going to subside. And if the volume subsided by a support line, it's likely not going to have enough strength to break through. So if that support line that I showed you that hit at whatever, 10:51, whatever it was, right before 11 o'clock, if that thing hit at 10 o'clock, it would have gone a lot lower. I would have had to call a bottom significantly lower than where it was. So the time in which these patterns set up, the time in which these support and resistance levels hit, are critical to your success. Forgiving people and moving on in the very least and not holding grudges against people Like I think there's like 5 to 10 trolls. This is, by the way, the most watched, the most thumbs up, and by far the most thumbs down video T3 Live has. There are people like as soon as these videos start, within the first 5 minutes, I have like 5 to 10 thumbs down. There are people out there just they probably think it's funny or whatever, and I'm sitting back and I really don't care. I don't monetize off these videos. I'm not here. YouTube, I've never cashed a YouTube check in my entire life. I don't even know what color it is. I've never cashed a check from Facebook in my entire life. I don't know what color their checks are. I have no idea. But I would even, sad thing is they don't actually watch the videos. I would actually urge them to be a little more, less angry, less resentful for whatever reasons. Because what you're going to realize is that people who hold grudges, that to me is one of the ultimate ways that you can fail as a trader. You want to talk about keeping your mind clear? If you're angry at the people around you, you're not going to trade well. In fact, you're going to trade awful. So I'm telling you this. You want to be, you could look back and say, "Oh, Mark Melnick is such a good person. He forgives and he forgets." And thank you. At the same time, I can make a flip side argument saying that it was the best thing for my trading. Isn't that what we're all here about? Becoming a better person is actually linked to becoming a better trader. It is one of the key properties for success. People who are jerks, in other colorful words, they eventually burn out very quickly. They don't last the test of time. It takes a certain type of individual to constantly take a market battering and not take it personal. A lot of people take these market moves personally. So it's not just about forgiving and forgetting human beings that might have caused you grief or did something wrong by you. It's also about not holding the market responsible for the wacky action it threw your way. You follow these mentalities, and I have no doubt that you're going to be a successful trader. I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Happy trading, make money. I will see you guys tonight in the room right after the show ends. I spend time with my members. And tomorrow morning on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And don't let crappy situations drag you down.